Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first draft breakdown for the JJDL, the Worst Takes Division, or the VGC division. I'm here with my draft breakdown of what I drafted, why I drafted, and explain some of the thought processes and roles I was trying to fulfill. So first off, the JJDL Worst Takes division gave us 105 points to draft 9 to 11 Pokemon. These Pokemon ranged from points all the way up to things such as 18, all the way down to 1. Now, the unique thing about drafting for VGC is due to the fact that everything can Terra, there's no additional Terra Captain points, it all comes from the same pool. The Worst Takes division has 16 different coaches. I drew the 11th pick, which, to be honest, isn't great, but it could be a lot worse. But we'll see how things went from there. So, Pokemon that were gone for my pick, Pokemon like Archaludon, Ursaluna Blood Moon, Golden Go, Annihilate, Whimsicott, Garchomp, Regular Ursaluna, Dragonite, Rillaboom, Dragapult, and all these very top options, a lot of them were gone. The only things that weren't gone were things such as Incineroar, which is a VGC menace, but a little bit nerfed in draft. So the first Pokemon I drafted was Porygon 2. Porygon 2 has been a staple of Regulation H and Trick Room teams for a very long time. Its natural bulk, as long as they're having a Violate and not too many Pokemon having knockoff in VGC format, allows it to have a lot of bulk in this format. It allows it to set up things such as Trick Room for the rest of the team. It has abilities that come with Trace, which I could copy Jason Fo's ability, should be useful in certain situations. Mostly use it for download. Download's ability is very good. It allows me to be physically attacked or specially attacked with Terra Blast, which is its best stab move. You can see Terra Blast has an 80 power normal move, and the rest of its normal type moves are either physical, which it not normally is, that do recoil, Facade, which isn't necessarily a thing, Hyper Beam, which is only useful in some situations, and Tri Attack. But the good thing about Terra Blast is it just goes off of whatever you download. So if you download Attack Physical Attack, you have the best stab normal move in the game. It's also very versatile. It has other moves than Trick Room and Bulk. Has great coverage. It has great Electric, Ice, Dark, Shadow Ball, Thunder, and has some different unique sets such as Trick as well. But most of the time, Trick Room or other things. So that was my first pick, and I was originally saying, we can go for a Trick Room sort of build, but our top Trick Room users were obviously taken. So I needed to get something that was great for Trick Room and also a great Pokemon. As then I drafted Primarina. Primarina is a Pokemon I have experience with and I'm currently using in my other VGC draft. It's a menace, being a water fairy type, being very, very good in this format, counting the aforesaid Dragapults, the Ursalunas that come in, and Annihilate before Terra. It struggles a little bit against things such like King Gambit, but it also doesn't mind taking on Dragonite and Incineroar, and it's also just very versatile. As Aqua to Liquid Voice, meaning Hyper Voice, it now becomes a spread water type move. And a lot of teams do not have great water switch-ins that aren't either pure grass types or things that need to terrestrialize. So it's very efficient in that. It has decent base HP and also has insane special attack with 126, as well as special ball for 116. It can take some pretty special hits and it can deal some damage out. Also has access to things such like Haze to prevent Dondozo and other things from, encoring things. It has Calm Mind setup moves, access to things such as Helping Hand, and of course, Perish Song. Perish Song, people are famous for Wolf EDC using Perish Trap, is always an idea to draft later, and also has some news such as Rest, Reflect, etc. So it has some great standard. A lot of it's going to be AV, Citrus Berry, some maybe damage boosting moves, and it also works with the 60 speed gun in Trick Room. You'll have Porygon outspeed it or Primarina outspeed and Trick Room depending on the sets and everything. So it's a good Trick Room abuser. It generally can work outside of Trick Room as well as just being a bulkier, slower spread damage dealer or a little bit of support Pokemon. So now that I drafted those two, I needed to drive some points. The 17-16 is very, very expensive, taking about 33 points out of my budget, which means I'm already basically a little bit less than one third out of my budget on two Pokemon, six left. But there was a Pokemon that I had that I could not pass up, which is Alcremie. Alcremie is an amazing Pokemon in VGC. The main combo you see it is with Ursaluna Blood Moon or Ursaluna, where it uses the move Decorate. Decorate raises the attack and special attack by two target, especially in Trick Room where this thing is already slow, or if the opponent can't even redirect because can't redirect because of things such as Sweet Veil or Aroma Veil, and you could Terra Grass so it doesn't redirect as well. Decorate can just get redirected on your own Pokemon, such, for example, Primarina in this case, and start dealing massive damage with Hyper Voice. You can even use it on Porygon to give just some good overall damage to Porygon, becoming one of the efficient damage dealers and bulkiest Pokemon out there. As well as Decorate is good on almost any single Pokemon you could bring in. However, Decorate's not the only thing it gets. It gets things such as Dazzling Gleam, gets Alluring Voice to stop things, it gets Fake Tears, which is a unique move that's great in VGC to lower special defense of stats, which helps Primarina and Porygon 2. Last Resort, great, has Pain Split, has access to screens, some other unique moves here that I won't tell too far into. It's a very cool Pokemon. It also needs Terra sometimes, but also Pure Fairy is just a great typing. A lot of things don't have steel coverage, and if they do, are weak to other Pokemon such as Primarina or other Pokemon I have later. So I thought it was very good value at 12, and it also prevented the other Ursaluna and aforesaid Ursaluna Blood Moon from getting these buffs. But next, I needed a Pokemon that could abuse Trick Room, but as well as be okay if I wanted to grab like a Tailwind or something else. The original plan was to draft Komo, but unfortunately, Komo was taken a bit early, which is expected, but unfortunate. So I had to pivot around, and I decided to use Metagross. Metagross is a Pokemon, again, I have not too much experience in, but I know good it can be. Steel type also works good with the aforesaid fairies. Also has some good abilities in Clear Body, which prevents Intimidate. So Intimidate moves such as Stantler, Incineroar, Torracat, or other Pokemon that can't just come in and intimidate it. It has great, obviously, access to things such as Heavy Slam, Bullet Punch, Psychic Fangs, and a bunch of different coverage moves. Bulldoze, Body Press, Hammer Arm has ice coverage with Ice Punch. There's Knockoff, Meteor Beam if you want to get that funny, and some rock coverage, ghost coverage. It has great coverage moves. Allows me to decorate it, meaning I can run a mixed Metagross set that has a bunch of coverage moves and use decorate on it, which is amazing. Since clear body prevents other from lowering but not raising stat changes. It's good in Trick Room with its base 70 speed, but it can also work in Tailwind if you invest some speed in it and get a Tailwind up. It's a very good mixed attacker or just one attacker. And it's also defensively bulky with 130 defense, 80 HP, and 90 special defense. AD sets, defensive sets are also really good on this Pokemon, so it gives me a lot of different coverage and vulnerability. The next Pokemon I want to grab was a Tailwind user. It's simply a lower end Tailwind user that can be used without a Violate, so I grabbed Scyther. The reason I grabbed Scyther is, yes, while it is good as a Violate, that's not the only thing it can run. It can run Focus Sash, it can run Bandit or Scarf sets with its 110 base attack, run Plate sets, it can run some unique item sets as well. It has access to Swarm, which means good Bug Tech. It also has access to Technician, which is generally just an amazing ability and hits harder, and Steadfast, where if somebody would actually want to fake out Scyther, they don't kill it immediately because they think it's low in HP, you can raise its speed by one. So you don't have to invest as much speed and you can invest more in bulk. It also gets access to aforesaid Tailwind, making Tail Room an official thing, and the common theme of my draft being Tail Room. Tail Room is a Pokemon that can work within Trick Room and Tailwind. So I don't specifically have a Trick Room only team or a Tailwind only team. Opponents have to prep for both, and both could definitely come. It also gets great moves, like it said. We go to Technician, and it gets things such as Wing Attack, Bug Bite, Pounce, which is really good, Struggle Bug, which is very good in this type of format to lower attacks. Trailblaze is also fun. Has some other things such as Dual Stab, Dual Wing Beat. It's access to Sunny Day and Rain Dance, as well as Quick Guard, which protects others from priority. Some very good coverage moves and just boarding moves for 9 points. It was the best tail winner, I think, on the board at the time, and I'm very happy to get it. The next thing I looked at my team is we don't have redirection. Redirection is just huge in VGC. Rage Pad or Follow Me is insanely popular and insanely coverage needed. We also struggle a little bit with steel types. We have Metagross, we have two fairies and have great coverage. So I wanted to grab a strong fire type as we don't struggle for water. Defensively, ground can be a little dicey, but with a flying type, it's not that bad. And with Terras, it's not that awful. So I grabbed Magmortar. Magmortar's the more common Pokemon, especially since we're in a Violet in VGC, but Magmortar's no slouch. It does still get Follow Me, which is a great. It gets Flame Body, which is also amazing. You have Follow Me redirect those physical attackers to a Magmortar for it to get burned. For example, Mousehold, Annihilate, etc. King Gambit. It also has Vital Spirit, which you won't be seeing it too much, but it cannot fall asleep. But most of the time, will Spirit. Flame Body. It has good HP, not great defense. It has good special attack with 125 base special attack and good special defense with 95. It's 83 speed, so it isn't the slowest Pokemon in the world, but it also has a good amount of in the fact that it works pretty well in Tailwind if you want to make it a more attacking set. It does have great coverage, has obviously fire type moves, things such as Focus Blast. It has things such as Thunderbolt as well. And it also has Poison Jab. It has some unique coverage, such as Will-O-Wisp coverage as well. Taunt, Scorching Sands, and it also can have access to Terra, so it could cover some of the things it can't, such as Rock type moves, etc. It has access to Solar Beam, so if you have opponent in the sun or you to set up the sun, you can have some decent timing as well. So the next thing I want to do is grab something to help with the fairy types. Because Fairy and Fairy is neutral, and with Metagross most likely tearing a lot of the games, you don't have a true resist. But I also wanted to grab a poison type as well, so I grabbed something that's neutral to Fairy, weak to ground, and overall just a general bulky Pokemon in Muckalola. Muckalola is actually pretty bulky with 105 base HP, 100 special defense, so definitely specially bulky, decent defense. It also has good attack and access to a few different abilities. Poison Touch allows me to poison the other Pokemon, which is great, especially in a game even though turns tend to go shorter and general VGCs don't go past 10 turns, having the extra poison chip damage is amazing. Gluttony also is kind of useful if you're running a berry set, but it's not going to be seen much play. And Alchemy copies an ability of an ally that faints. This could be useful in maybe Flame Body and some other abilities, but it's not necessarily what I drafted it for. It has access to strong moves such as stab knockoff, stab poison moves, good coverage with like fire punch, has fighting coverage with focus punch if you really want to use it. Has access to haze as well. Has ice punch, has memento, which is actually a decent move if you're near two, you want to memento something. Pain split's always good to get HP back. Has access to rock slide, shadow ball, shadow sneak. Stone Edge also gets taunt, has electric coverage. It has great coverage moves, has great bulk, and generally for 9 points is just a good pickup. It has 50 speed, so again, slow, works in Trick Room. Can work in Tailwind, but most of the time it's going to be a slower, bulkier, more supportive attacker anyway. Next Pokemon I grab is Vikavolt or Vikavolt. This thing is a Trick Room menace. This thing is not used enough, in my opinion. It has access to Levitate, meaning it's not going to another ground immunity, which is great in a team that has a lot of ground weaknesses. It has 145 base special attack level. It's ridiculous to show you at level 50. That at base is 165 special attack with no bonus. If you run Modest, 216 special attack at level 50, which is ridiculous. Stab Thunderbolts and Stab Electro Web is nuts. It has also access to Bug Buzz, which is a great bug typing. The only thing it also has access to Stab Struggle Bug. So this thing can hit hard and lower your special attack. Has great moves with air slash coverage as well. Energy ball coverage for these pesky flash cannon for the fairy types. It gets Terra, so you could Terra blast if you're against fire types, Terra water. Some great access with thunder in the rain. It has Volt Switch. It has some great attacking moves. It is basically a trick room attacker that if you do not pay attention to, will wreck your team. What isn't great specifically in Tailwind In a lot of matches, it might not come because of trickermancy measures. It's a great 10 point value, especially for a tricker heavier team like mine. I wanted to get another ground immunity and a ground type, so I actually grabbed Flygon. Normally a Pokemon I wouldn't grab, and it's not particularly great. Having Levitate is great because it's not a flying type, but also with the 100 speed works pretty well with Tailwind and has decent bulk. Again, good coverage moves with on both sides because it can do either a physical or a special attacking threat. Well, 80 isn't great. 100 attack's not bad. You have access to things like crunch, dragon moves, you have bug moves, you have ground moves, flying move. It's just great overall coverage, and it's just a decent role filler. Has momentum in U-turn, and it also is a secondary tailwind user in itself. So in things that you need to bring Alchemy or Porygon 2 with a Violite, you can also bring this thing with Tailwind as well to have. It's due to the fact it's also a little bulky, it's going to be living a few hits rather than needing a focus sash. So it has some decent other moves. Breaking Swipe is a very good move I like in VGC that lowers attack by one. You have Bulldoze to lower speed, especially if you're in Toner Spell. If you can trap people with Fire Spin, you can go for the Ting Lu strategy of praying you hit fissures if you really need, though I wouldn't suggest that. Some other things such as Screech, Sunny Day, has Vacuum Wave. Just good overall 6 point Pokemon that I think was good value for there, and also has some unique things that I need to dig into, as well as stab first. First impression is always a great. Now I had one Pokemon left, 1 point left. To add a 10th Pokemon, I just put Zora Hisui. A lot of the 1 point Pokemon are particularly usable. This thing at least has some use. If you have Tailwind up and put a Specs on it, 85 special attack Specs Hyper Voice is Hyper Beam is not bad. You also have access to Shadow Ball. Bitter Malice is still pretty good. And you just have access to generally Memento. You could do Memento strats. You have Nightshade's not bad. You have some Shadow Sneak and Sludge Bomb. So it's basically just there. If you can find a way in Tailwind or to get Tailwind up and be in the back and just launch a few Specs moves before it dies, it's not a bad 1 pointer. But overall, this is my team for the JDL Worst Takes division. Tomorrow we'll be uploading the next draft analysis for the Good Cop, Bad Cop division. And I just want to apologize to the community as a whole. I know this video should have been uploaded yesterday, but due to the fact that my Wi-Fi was cut out for 90% of the day, that was unable to happen. So I want to just say thank you. Appreciate you guys watching. Look out for that secondary or second draft breakdown showing tomorrow, and we will see you guys next time.